You might as well.
Oh, I gotta record the show because that's what most people listen through.
All right, we are here. Starting.
Yeah, we are here.
now.
Is it working?
It's on air.
Is everything good? There's a "that's what she said" joke somewhere in there. Hey, before we begin, it is time to thank some friends, people. Scratch Labs, folks. If you guys, where else can you get your hands on brilliant fueling products like, well, everything on their site, but also recipes? I shit you not. I will pick two. I'm going to pick two recipes. Scratch Slaw. You're curious now, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And Farmer's Market Corn Salad. This is on a website that sells fueling products, and this stuff, this is free. That's just the tip of the old recipe book. So get on over to scratchlabs.com, see what they have to offer. Time to get fast, and Scratch can help. Big thanks again, of course, to Gooder Sunglasses. I seriously need to try out some of the gamer glasses. And I know what you're thinking. Really, Pat? Let me ask you this. How many times do you get off the trainer with horrid dry eyes from the fan? And I know this sounds like a first world problem, which it is, but you could solve that problem and still look mildly cool, depending upon how ugly you are. But would you do that? Yeah, we'll get some Gooders on your face and save your eyes. And finally, I've got a third read before we begin, and I want to thank Giant Bicycles. They are now part of the podcast, people. Oh, did you know that the TCR Advanced Pro Disc won both Cycling Weekly Editor's Choice, but also the Velo News Bike of the Year? That might deserve a little bit of a cheer, because that's a big deal. This is not just by luck. Brilliant design, brilliant ride, brilliant speed. Check out all that Giant has to offer at giantbicycles.com. There's a slash between Giant and Bicycles for those of you technically challenged. And, of course, your local bike shop. So let's do this. You can't hear it? Oh. Did it work there?
There you go.
It's working now?
There we go.
There's something going on with your headphone jack, because if all I was doing is touching stuff. I wasn't doing anything
weird.
naughty. And I'm trying to get the audio stream corrected here. Where's my master list? There we go. Hey, people can see us. That's the big thing. You know, we're a visually oriented society in an audio podcast. Hey, and speaking of which, the studio is a mess, but for good reasons. So welcome to another episode of the Packfiller Podcast. I spent all day down here, and I know that might seem extremely sad, and I'm cool. I'd take it with that. You know, I spent all day down here. Or you could be thinking to yourself, Pat, what the fuck you do for a living if you're spending all day downstairs working on things? Because we know you're not making enough money on this, but I digress, and so I'll get to the point. So if they were popular Christmas movie characters, in the studio with me is definitely what Hermie the Elf would be like if he grew up. Mr. Palmain. The dentist Hermie, you know?
I want to be a dentist.
For years I thought it was Herbie.
Yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed when they told me it was Hermie.
Hermie.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Next off, a cross between George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life and Edward Scissorhands, Jackson Bulger.
Interesting combination,
Yeah.
but hello.
Yeah. Okay. And me, finally, I'd probably be what would happen to Buddy the Elf if he grew up on that diet. I'm Pat Bulger. Get it? Because he eats just garbage all the time. Did that one fall a little flat? Sure sounded like it. I'll just provide it myself. There we go. Welcome to the Christmas episode of the Packfiller. If you're listening live, welcome to our Podbean and YouTubes. Somebody is actually texting me, and I've got it up as 12/25/20. So thanks, Karsten. Merry Christmas, then. If you're watching it live, time has moved forward, and you can just open your shit now. And if you're listening to the recording sometime during your Christmas holiday, just remember the in-laws will eventually leave, and you can have your bike room as well as your normality back soon. Guys, I called it the UPVCC, unauthorized Packfiller Virtual Cycling Classic. Jackson, you've been posting it as the
Virtual
PVCC or VPZC.
virtual Packfiller Virtual Cycling Challenge. So, yeah, you're right.
PVCC. Yeah. Which has just confused people even more.
Did
'Cause
it?
It almost made it sound like it was authorized, and I can't take credit for that.
Oh, well.
I'm
then I
giving you
will.
shit. I'm not really worried about it. The people who gave a shit figured it out in the first place. So.
Exactly, yeah.
It has come to an end, and I need to find a better way to formulate and tabulate results. I've just come to that conclusion after the last 48 hours of staring at my computer screen. And the riding was fun, in my opinion. Gentlemen, thoughts, opinions. First of all, who's riding? Who has ridden since the last stage of the challenge?
Not outside.
Not.
I haven't.
Have you?
No,
Have you ridden inside?
Yeah,
Really?
I did a little bit today, with my broken down trainer, but still works. I mean, it was a good workout. And then I think I did it like 2 days ago or something like that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I
gotta
really.
lose some fat.
I was saying before the show started that we should come up with like a crowdfunding thing for a new trainer for Paul. And I wish I could play, because it's YouTube. I can't play it. I wish I could play like Sarah McLachlan's "In the Arms of an Angel," and do this whole kind of a Paul Main.
Put the sad face on.
Yeah, I just wish, the only thing I have that's even close is that stupid church music, like Paul Main. Maybe you know one who's missing a trainer that works properly. Stop this cruelty for 10 cents a day. You too can help a Paul Main.
But you got to have flashes of the face, long face.
Yeah, it's just this.
Yeah.
And the whole camera crew could adopt the fucking dog.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
but anyway. Jackson, you've been riding. You've been motivated in riding.
I have been riding quite a bit for reasons which we will discuss later on.
Yeah. You've got yourself in a whole big pot of stew shit.
Yeah, I've been spending some time.
Yeah. Wink, wink. Me, I have not ridden since the last stage. I have not. I've been down here painting walls and what I call expanding the studio, which just, it's a cool way of saying I'm spending a lot of time in the basement. Isn't it? Don't you
Are
think?
you in Dutch with the missus or something?
No. In fact, I'd be in Dutch spending so much time down here usually.
Mm-hmm.
Usually she's like, the rest of the house, you could really help out. And, I don't know, the rest of the house.
Yeah.
But you're downstairs painting a concrete wall and making stuff for your vivid little imagination games. But but I haven't ridden, and I need to. I felt kind of, well, I'll get to that. Let's oh my gosh, I need to bring up the Packfiller website, because all the results, boys and girls, have been posted to it.
Wow.
So in case you didn't know how you did, it was, oh my God, I finished posting today, and I'm not going to name any names, but I think there were some people constantly hitting refresh on their phones for like the last 72 hours because it got posted, and not one person, but about 5 people immediately were like, hey man, just so you know, this time's off a little bit because it included my warm up and my cool down, and this, and I timed each lap, and each lap was this, and so that's my total time, and not a big deal, but I just thought you might want to change it.
Yeah.
And so, needless to say, I had to get everybody where they needed to be, and everybody who contacted me was really cool. Nobody was like, hey, fucker, you screwed up my times, or something like that. Nobody was like that. And I am so glad that was the kind of mentality we had with this whole thing, because there's nothing worse than working an event when people take it for granted. And I want to thank everybody involved who was really cool about it and did all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I guess I could go through all the stages results, but that would be kind of time consuming, don't you guys think?
Yeah.
And
especially they have access to it.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything we really want to announce?
Do you have an overall winner?
I do.
I think that's important. Like
there
the
we
top
go, yeah.
3 podium.
I have the overall and the overall men and the overall women. Mm-hmm. So let's go. Let's start with let's start with the overall women, and then go to the overall men, and then all the way to the grand overall, because that just kind of builds suspense.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't have a drum roll. Fuck! I really got to work on my sound effects. I gotta build it up. We had some kick-ass ladies in the event this year. Anne Farawelia, even though she was only able to do like 2 of the stages, was still able to pull out some points. For the overall, what I did was I took the top 5, and I gave corresponding points, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, based on first, second, third, fourth, fifth. I'm not going to go back and tabulate your times and go, well, you had a minute and a half after the prologue, and I'm not going to do that. I'm doing this for free. So if you pay me for it, maybe I'll start doing some math. But right now it's 1 through 5.
Is there a place somebody could file a complaint?
Yeah. Yeah. It's called. No, I won't.
No, I'm saying send it to him.
Yeah.
I thought you're going to pass the buck.
No, I was going to pass the buck and say it's under my email. Yeah. Eat shit at packfiller.com. That's the web. That's the web address. In third place, and pulled up third place, Christina Hughes, who I have not met yet, but I think is from the Bend area, who impressed the shit out of me with, especially when she blew my doors off in Richmond.
She beat me in the crit.
She crushed. She did a lot of really fast things. Why did I just lose something in my results page? But she came home with second, and the one and only Allison Chauvin. She's flying. She is absolutely flying. She took the women overall. For the men,
she probably could have taken the women overall too.
The men overall?
Yeah.
In third place today overall was the one and only East Coaster himself. Had to probably, drive through some covered bridges to get home today. The one and only Brent Soderberg, who's been on this show before. Yeah. No, we should have cheered for the women too. Yeah. Second place is just the guy that I loved watching us tactically get together and work over in. Yep. Was it the Richmond stage?
That was the Richmond stage.
Bruce Johnson. Bruce is a fan of the show. Thanks, Bruce. Nice job, man. Bruce was pretty damn consistent. And the first place overall in the men's category, nepotism is not dead. Is the one and only.
Hi,
Jackson Bulger.
Bye.
He's blushing. He's blushing right now.
I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
To. So.
I was surprised at how fast those meetup rides we did were, and they really chalked up some time really well. It was flying, absolutely crushing. So overall, I can go from the top 10. Paul, you got 10th overall, man.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Tyler S. was 9th. I don't know Tyler's last name, but I'll hopefully find it out. I was 8th place overall. El Rotundo, a.k.a. Karsten Hagen. That's his name. I'm not making up a bad name for him. Karsten Hagen took 7th overall. Andre Milroy took 6th overall, even though there were like 2 stages I couldn't get a finish for him.
Oh, shoot.
So, Andre, if you're hearing this, I probably won't change the website, but, I don't want to type anything anymore. 5th place, drink, Roger Thompson.
With his altitude mask on.
Oh. Yep. 4th place, East Coast boy, Brent Soderberg. We're seeing something going on here. 3rd place, Bruce Johnson. 2nd place, Jackson Bulger.
Wow.
Yeah. 1st place overall went to Allison Chauvin.
Yep. See?
Allison is a machine. She was flying up a lot of those climbs, and just nice work to Allison. And man, she's freaking fast. I want to go to her house and make sure she doesn't have like 2 sensors on her wheels or something. I'm joking. Joking. Allison crushed it. So nice job, you guys. In a couple seconds here, I'm going to be drawing some prizes that I have already gone through and drawn. So I will let you guys know how it did. But gentlemen, talk to me about the race experience itself. And if somebody's listening on Podbean, I think we took a call last week and it was fucked up.
Yes.
And I haven't had a chance to work on the calls yet, but you can chime in on the chat on Podbean. And do you have our YouTube stream up? I could probably bring it up and see if we have. Well, you might need to bring it up, but
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, take a look at that, and if anybody wants to chime in on the YouTube stream and tell us anything like that, because what I kind of want to know is, and this is going to be interesting because, as I said before the whole thing started, we have a perspective between the two guys sitting here in front of me. Jackson, you're like the gamer version, and I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as a compliment. You're completely at home on this format.
Yeah.
Paul, you had a trainer that obviously was built in like Mordor or something like that. It's speaking of nerds. It was cursed from the outgo, and I kept waiting for your trainer to just start laughing maniacally in the middle of a stage.
Yeah.
And then every day I don't know what was every day you came something we were like, oh shit, we can't log on here, we got to do it here. The last stage you did on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it on my phone.
Yeah. So here we go. Gentlemen, what was the highlight for you if you had to pick one from this experience? I'll let Jackson go for, other than winning over, the kicking ass in the men's. Yeah.
I really had a good time doing the meetups. I thought that was a really great way of doing this thing and creating a little competition in a time where we can't really have in-person competition. So I think that would be my favorite part of it all.
That was a pleasant surprise to me.
Yeah.
And riding it like a bike race, not like a Zwift race.
Mm-hmm.
I thought when we did those stages that when we finished them, we were going to be 2 to 5 minutes behind everybody. Because there were times when we were sitting up, kind of watching each other in cat and mouse.
Well, you guys were.
But they were fast. I mean, they were quite fast in terms of our overall times. So there's your experiment, your social experiment. Paul, did you have a highlight?
I would say the meetups were, I did it twice. Those were good. It's weird to hear those people because I've never done a Zwift race, but
Yeah.
Karsten and you mentioned too was
shit.
a lot more fun than a Zwift race, because you're doing actual tactics instead of just laying down watts, and that's about it. So there's a little more dimension to it, it sounds like.
Zwift racing is, before the race even starts, you're at 500 to 800 watts, depending on what you can put out.
Not on my trainer.
On your trainer, it's like, but I'm at a full sprint. It's like a cyclocross start. You just got to fly out of the gates and go balls out for, however long, 5 to 10 minutes until everything starts to kind of slow down, but still it doesn't. It's like a really, really, like you're doing a crit and everybody's juiced from the 90s. They're all just hopped up on something. What sucked? Be honest with me, gentlemen. What sucked? Paul was going to say the whole goddamn thing.
I enjoyed myself. I mean, it's not my type indoor training.
Yeah.
It's just I've never really liked it. So, I mean, but in all fairness, to have an objective and meeting with people and then adding a competitive element to it makes it a little more interesting. So, but yeah, I mean, just indoor training sucks. It's terrible. I mean, Zwift has done a good job to make it halfway entertaining, but I find myself, like even today, not even looking at the screen. I'm just putting an effort. Yeah, I don't. That's just not me. I like being on the road and feeling the road and being able to stand up and move my bike. Naturally, not with a platform that wiggles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jackson and I, we have those Wahoo pads on our trainers, and it's still not moving.
No.
I mean, if the bike moves, it's like barely.
I do like about them how it gives you that natural sway when you sit now instead of when I wasn't expecting when I stood up for the whole thing to tilt. I was just expecting that just little side to side wiggle, which
natural.
It helps me comfort wise. Just that slight natural wiggle that you usually get whenever you're riding. So I like that. I think for what sucked for me, man, I don't know. I had a great time throughout. I think there were times when I felt like I would I have a tough time with overheating in these type of situations, so I think there would be times when I would like sometimes get a little overheated, but I wasn't like, it wasn't to a point where I was like, oh my God, I can't continue on. I think that would be like my low light, because I had a lot of fun when we did this.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the reasons why I've been working down here, is we came down here just to do those meetups, and I found something. It's like, wow, okay, I think we're going to do some of this, and some of the feedback I've been getting from a lot of people. God, Pat, the feedback I've been getting is that this has been a great motivational factor.
Good.
You guys should do more of these, and so
I'll tell you what, like, to kind of pound that point home, like, I think throughout this, it's gotten me to feel some sort of excitement towards indoor training. Like, there's something to like look forward to a little bit, and like, especially I think it's gotten me more into that mindset of like, oh, this can be kind of fun. And I think, and Brent Soderberg also chimed in telling,
hey, Brent.
Yeah, he said, I think it helped my overall time that I jumped into a couple of races. The meetup times didn't work out for me, and thanks for putting on the event.
Thanks, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's our pleasure. Let me try to think. The thing that sucked, results.
I knew that was
putting
be a
together
problem.
Results. It really looked good in my brain when I was putting this whole thing together. I was like, man, we got this. Piece of cake. I just do this, check out everybody's Strava, just grab a segment. Little did I know that I'm just going, why can't I find it on this person's Strava? Or why won't they let me in? Or where is the segment? And I'm scrolling through their segment, and then I find something, or even some people would do the exact right course, but it wouldn't show. For example, the mall sprint forward in London, I couldn't find it on some people. And so I'm just diving all over the place and things like that. And I know there are probably some people who are checking the website right now going, hey, I did every stage. Why the hell am I not on there? And if you are, send me an email. Patrick@packfiller.com. I'd be happy to take you. And you can send me your times, and you could fucking make shit up for all I care. I'm fine with it, because there are no World Cup points on the line here, but yeah, I know, right? But that was hard. That did suck, and I got to find a more smooth, streamlined way to do that. And I think there are ways. Is there anything that could be better that you guys think? Immediacy of the results. Pat could quit his job and just tabulate results. Yeah. Anybody?
I think the only thing that might have been difficult was like sometimes finding it, or actually, I think the main thing that was the toughest was just the rotation of courses. Because like how Zwift works is, as we all figured out that did it, that places disappear throughout each week. Mm-hmm. And so I think not being able to, unfortunately, like nail down those to just free ride them, I think is sometimes a difficulty. And that, of course, is out of everybody's hands except for the people at Zwift. So it's like, that's the only like difficulty that I think that we found. But a way around it, which was really nice, was those meetups. So that helped to kind of defy that difficulty.
Speaking of Brent, he was the guy who actually chimed in and told me that, hey, New York's not going to be available for the rest of the time. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, and again, something that completely didn't even enter into my brain. Mm-hmm. And so, but the meetups, you saved it. You can schedule a meetup and invite one person, and they don't have to show up, and you'd still have access to the course. So that was nice. Paul, anything that could have been better other than your trainer?
If it was outside. On real bikes, and that would be way nicer.
All right. Should we do more? Man, I want the listeners and everybody to let us know. Should we do more? Are you enjoying these? Should we create some sort of a schedule where we're doing these things, or should we leave them open to you do it on your own and send us the result? Let me know. And that's a genuine request, because I had fun doing it. I found the motivation to get up and go get on my trainer and do it. And so, I mean, if that can get us through till spring, so be it. We'll do it.
Spring?
Yeah.
All we have to do is get through January. Then we're outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
January 1st. Fuck it.
That's
go
right.
out.
We're rolling.
Yeah, and I'll try to get more, observant in terms of what Strava offers. Not Strava, Zwift offers in terms they go. So we should probably do some prize drawings before we get to the serious topic of the show.
There we go.
We're 25 minutes into the show. So big thanks to our event sponsors for everything that went on this year. And first and foremost, I want to thank our friends at Giant Bicycles, Giant and Live. Giant has given us, if I were to put all the dollar signs together, let me see, $600-700 worth of equipment every time we've done an event. And that's been a huge help. And the people who have received the product, for example, the shoes. I just got a set of the shoes. I just got a set of Dark Knights in here, baby, and they're actually pretty cool. Paul, you see them back there on the table. Those aren't bad,
they
right?
aren't, yeah.
So these really nice shoes, BOA controlled shoes, at least a $300 pair of cycling shoes. A helmet, one of their really high-end helmets. I saw that get sent through, and a torque wrench set. So great stuff from them. Thanks to Giant for being involved. Thanks to our friends over at Manscaped. Oh, my God. Manscaped has been with us for 5 months now, and it's been a lot of fun with them. It's not a bike company, and it's hard to trust a cycling-based podcast. Are people going to want to shave their junk if we're talking about a podcast for a bunch of cyclists? And they were willing to come on and give us this our Performance Package 3.0, which is a $200 value package. So thanks to Manscaped, and of course thanks to our friends over at Gooder. I mention them a lot because they're cool and they get the joke. And we got some glasses that are going to go out to people. So there we go. So shall we do this? I've got six giveaways to hand out, and I randomly chose names. So without further ado, here we go. First out of the gate, going to, and if I could find out, you need to probably, if it's something that is sized, well, regardless of if it's sized or not, you're going to need to send me an email with your address. So hopefully you're listening to this show. I'll post it on the website also obviously, but I'm going to need to know your address and, of course, your size. I promise I won't drive by or do anything, like you change the blinds in your bedroom. So first off, we've got a really nice Giant helmet, high-end Giant helmet going to Tyler S. Whoever Tyler S is, I don't know your last name, but Tyler, you want a kick-ass, really cool helmet. So thanks to Giant. A Gooder Packfiller gift basket. And I'm not going to send you a basket. I'm going to just send you some stuff in a box. But a pair of glasses from Gooder, and either a T-shirt or a sweatshirt from Gooder. I mean, not from Gooder, from Packfiller. Jason Brown, you're gonna go home with that one. Nice job, Jason. By the way, if you're wondering how these names were chosen, if however many stages were there, I put you in for one tab. It's like, drawing if you have to compete in the Hunger Games. So every child you offered up, I'm going to pick one name. A pair of Gooder glasses. Hey, Andre Milroy, you got a pair of Gooders, man. Yeah, you're going to get a pair of Gooders. Hopefully he'll wear them. They'll look cool on him. The Manscaped Performance Package.
Can we do a drum roll?
3.0. I don't have a drum roll, but we can just do this. Is going to Brett Soderberg. Brett Soderberg is going to go home with a giant. Well, it might be bigger.
Yeah, well, it's gonna look
after
bigger.
He shaves it. Yeah.
The shrubs down. The tree's gonna look better. Bigger.
But Brent, I'm gonna need to know. I don't need to know your size on this one, buddy. I just need to know your address, because Brent's gonna get a really nice package from Manscaped. I love talking about shaving your balls. So much fun. Believe it or not, and this is not a rigged show, I promise. I put in all the names and everything turned out this well. A giant torque wrench set is going to my son, Jackson Bolger. You're going to go home with some torque wrenches.
Nice.
Go with your new work stand.
There we go.
He got a work stand for Christmas, so there you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a surprise.
No, he already
opened it. We're good.
He and his girlfriend opened shit like, hey, it's November.
Not a single regret.
And finally, my last gift to go away is these beautiful BOA restrained cycling shoes, either by Giant, or I guess you can offer up if you want to go through Live, because I'm going to offer those up, and her name came up multiple times, is going to Allison Chauvin. Allison won those, and Allison deserved that and more, because holy shit, she's fast. Thanks to everybody who participated. Throw me your ideas for more fun. I want to keep everybody motivated. I want to keep everybody on their bikes, and if it means me sitting down here searching through Strava, stalking you, I'm fine with it. Let's fucking do it. Let's just keep racing our bikes, shall we? Gentlemen, shall we check? Should we do a news check-in?
Sure.
We probably should, because that's a part of our show. All right. First on the news headlines today, in case you haven't heard it, apparently environmentalists like spray paint. 4 people were arrested in Deinze, Belgium. Sorry if I destroyed the town name, but I didn't destroy the town like those environmentalists did on Sunday after vandalizing 6 of the Ineos Grenadiers team vehicles, according to a report by Belgian news agency. The vehicles were painted with the phrase, and I quote, "Ineos will fall," at the team's service course in an action described as eco-terrorism. I shouldn't laugh.
Isn't that...
I shouldn't encourage.
That just seems like, like Army intelligence,
Yeah.
environmental terrorists. That's just those words.
Eco-terrorism.
Mix.
Yeah. It's kind of a contradiction in itself.
And let's use aerosol to spray and prove a point.
See? There's a hole in the ozone now.
Yeah.
I showed you, fuckers. Could we admit that this is just a bit sad and a little bit funny?
Well, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to encourage people to go out with a spray can and destroy public property. But
if there's a team can afford to clean up,
it's them.
Yeah. Oh, we'll just buy a new vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to clean it.
Yeah.
Just buy a new one.
None of those gigantic SUVs that I guess are like, the equivalent of driving a tank.
Yeah.
But have you guys? Actually, this kind of has to do with Ineos. Have you guys heard of any rumors surrounding the potential of Wout van Aert?
I have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
but his offer. Well, he's got till the end of this year, and of course, Jumbo. Well, read the story. I'm sorry.
No, I don't have that story.
So anyway, his contract ends at the end of the year, and Ineos is talking about making him the lead on classics.
Yeah.
Now they really suck on the classics.
Meanwhile, Kwiatkowski's sitting up looking at his phone going, the fuck?
So, that's just an area. Who knows? I heard an interview with Brailsford, and they had to reshuffle during the Giro and even the Tour. They started thinking a little bit beyond their, we'll just have a train. Everybody pulls at 450 watts.
God, I hope that era is over.
Yeah. So, he says he's excited for racing. He's going to change things up, or their idea of Ineos is going to change the way they race. So he says. So maybe that is part of the package. I personally hope. If you look at the people they've purchased in the last, they've got Pidcock.
Yeah.
They picked up it seems like anybody that's open, they're grabbing all the talent and smothering, and so nobody else gets it. So
it's New York Yankees of cycling.
Yeah, they got Danny Martinez from EF, Tom Pidcock. I forget who else they got, and Richie Port.
Yeah,
and so now they, definitely kind of.
I don't want to talk about Richie Port,
but they're monopolizing that young talent, is what it feels like, and which means that they are planning for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any teams, and I'm using this moment to bring this up, are there any teams you guys naturally find yourself rooting against?
Probably Ineos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because they've won so much.
Yeah.
I do the same with Bundesliga football. It's,
Yeah.
Bayern
just like
München.
not those guys. Yeah.
Not the Yankees, not the Cowboys, but the Cowboys seem to have been killing themselves
Yeah,
in
they
NFL.
have, yeah. Yeah.
I think, I don't know why, but America's all about the underdog.
Yeah.
And it's like, even during the last period, it's like everybody's like, look at this great. And you started seeing people like, I don't know, he seems a little cocky. I mean, we had reasons to.
Yeah.
And little did we know.
I finally met you.
Yeah. There was a reason.
My last question regarding this story is, number one, do you think Chris Froome owns spray paint? And number two, do you think they can tell his handwriting?
Honestly, if I was Chris, there's no other way to do it.
Fuck you guys, man.
He's
just stumbling out of a Belgian bar, just shit face. He's like going, oh, fuck.
Except we know he's in L.A. at this point.
Yeah. Would have been a better story that way, though.
Yeah, sorry. I crushed that.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Second story, Say It Ain't So, She's Supposed to Go On Forever, is my headline for the fact that after taking 15 consecutive national cyclocross championships and 5 medals in the World Cyclocross Championships, Katie Compton is beginning to wind down her professional career, according to her partner, Mark Legg. He posted on social media this weekend that Compton is racing her penultimate season. She will ride in the winter of 2021/22 with the World Championships in Arkansas, her last race if she is selected for the USA. Quoting to Legg, quote, it's been a lot of years of ups and downs. As much as we love that we do, we love what we do, it is time to hang up the bike on a hook. Next season, we'll miss all the amazing people, and every day is Saturday. I don't know if I necessarily need commentary on that, but I just would like to say, first of all, 15 national championships, holy shit. And second of all, I would love to see a rainbow on that hook next to the bike for Katie Compton. I
what
watch
a great
every
example of a
Class.
champion in class. She really is. And even she's asthmatic. She's done a lot. She's done wonders, in my opinion, for the sport, and especially on the women's side of things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we'll have a replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bank it on Chloe Dygart, but that's a different story. But she may change. She's young.
Yeah. A couple random tweets can't curse or fix. Sorry.
Got to be that younger generation, younger than you.
Yeah.
And
Chloe
we got
is
Quentin.
younger than you?
No, Chloe's. No, she's older than me.
Is she?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'll just.
Quentin is younger.
Quinn
Simmons is.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Quinn Simmons.
I said Quentin.
Because you heard me say it.
Did you say Quentin?
Yeah.
Thanks for dragging me into Paul.
That's right.
Jeez, I look stupid again. Somebody's going to say, "Oh, I love the podcast. I just can't."
Perfect.
Are they working now?
Yep.
I got to work on that. I love the podcast. Just the asshole doesn't know specific writers' names. Like the one iTunes review that I can't stop looking at.
Yeah.
Third story arose by any other name. Team Bahrain Victorious has announced their 2021 name and race kit. The announcement comes after a period of instability. Understatement, line one, and uncertainty at the team that saw McLaren step down as the team's secondary sponsor and team principal Rod Ellingworth leave after just 18 months in the role, according to a press agent sent out Monday. The team name and new kit are part of a, quote, of a change in strategic direction. Italian brand Nalini has come on board as the kit supplier, with Lecole no longer working with the team. So speaking of teams that you might just root against, do you guys, is there any...
I will say with when it was Bahrain McLaren, they were like, they had just luxury sponsor after sponsor. It was like they had Richard.
McLaren.
Yeah, they had McLaren. They had Richard Mille, which was the big watch brand. You know, that one that Julian Alaphilippe always wears.
Oh, and Lost, right?
Yeah. They were all like, they were sponsored by all these just like big luxury brands. And then when they figure out that, we're not making a bunch of money off of a cycling team, they all pull out real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like they had something good last year. And then now,
it just seems a little, a bit of hubris putting victorious.
Thank you.
And I don't understand where is that a sponsor? Are they just trying to,
I think
inspire the riders?
Yeah.
It's not a
look,
sponsor.
it's on our chest. We got to win.
Yeah.
You guys know it's okay to win, right? Really?
Well, put it on your chest.
Yeah.
Remember.
Victory.
So you can remember.
Victory.
And when Bahrain McLaren last year let out pretty much half the peloton going up the Alps, that was a tough time for them.
Yeah.
With Mikel Landa,
Yeah.
He couldn't.
Well, they had to
bring it
do
home.
something.
They did.
But, yeah.
Just didn't.
And I'm not going to,
Yeah.
you know,
a fart in church.
I have to say that I don't want to root against teams because I want teams to exist and employ riders and have big budgets and things like that. And Jesus, who's texting us all? Yeah, exactly.
I turned my ringer off.
Did you? Yeah, mine just went doot, 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 really professional. I don't want to root against them, but I'm going to root against them. And is it just me, or is it pretty much guaranteed they're going to suck with a name like that?
I know.
It's just like
It's like getting your significant other's name tattooed on yourself. It's never gonna work.
It's going to be a breakup.
yeah.
Yep.
Why don't you just say, "Hey, happy to be here, Bahrain"?
Yeah, it's
You know,
it's like putting, "Hey, we're
Just
gonna
keep
win
it-
everything" right on your chest.
don't just say happy to be here.
Just do
We're
that.
going to start.
So you think people are going to tease from other teams? To
Oh, yeah.
When's that going to happen?
Yeah.
Didn't happen again. Oh.
Yeah. Well, we got to give shit where shit is due. DeCoin has like wolf hair pattern in their new kit too.
I think it's kind of cool.
Do you
I like their new kits, to be honest.
I have to say, I have to agree.
really?
Yeah.
You like it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're turning into Smurfs, you guys.
I didn't know I have to be honest, when I looked at it, that's kind of an unusual pattern. Somebody says it's wolf hair, and I'm like, that doesn't look like wolf hair.
It doesn't
but
at all.
No.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it's a good change because there's just their colors and color scheme and
Yeah.
everything's just been kind of blasé for a while, but it doesn't matter because they win.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They got a world champion.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That they do.
How about the AG Desert Le Mondial kit? Did you guys see that one yet?
Yep.
Yeah. Paul's got
Citron.
opinion. Oh yeah, Citron is on there
Now, Now I
Is
have
it
to say,
Citron or Citron? I
well,
want to get my
you speak French.
Citron.
There we go.
Citron.
There we go.
Citron.
Citron.
Yeah. You just hawk up something and halfway through
It's
it.
through the nose. Citron.
Citron.
Yeah.
At first when I saw it, I'm thinking, man, I had a team called GS Gorn that had a better, and it was like 6 of us, and Black Bottom, this company, a small little Black Bottom, gave us a jersey, and we had sublimation put on it. It just looked like crap, and I'm thinking, that's what it looks like. It's like a piece together. I have to say, it's starting to grow on me.
It is completely growing
growing
on
on
me
me.
too.
I think it's.
And I'm glad they have the brown shorts. I
Yeah,
never thought
yeah,
I'd say it. I'm glad they have
yeah,
the brown shorts.
That's a trademark.
I do
Yeah.
like the brown shorts. I think it's a little underwhelming, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of, it's very, in my opinion, very plain. Just white, red, brown. Which is very simple, and I think if
and
you're
a
gonna,
little blue on the shoulders.
yeah,
Just that little titch. Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna go with predominantly white, red, and blue, you have to be simple because those colors usually do not go together, and that could have gone south very quickly.
Yeah.
But they kept it simple, which I am proud of for them. So
the U-23 squad has a red kind of U-23 badge on the shoulder, and it pops a little bit more. But I
that's
will
cool.
say that it reminded me of, and I'm going to phase Jackson out of this comment because it's going to be way before your time. When the first computers came out and you were playing with the word processing and you found out how big the fonts can go, you're like, "Whoa, my God, this is like a 96 font. Look at this!" And I printed something out with it because I thought that looked cool. That's what those jerseys look like. It looks like a 1989 Apple IIe computer where you're just typing out big ass letters. That's basically all it looked like. But and that's what I thought when I first saw it. And then now I'm like, shit, I really don't mind it. So in other words, I can't make up my mind. I am unable to make a decision. There we go.
there we go. Yeah.
Okay. Should we get to the topic, gentlemen? Should we get to that point? Shall we maybe potentially for one of the last times? Yeah, I'm throwing it out there again because it might be. So I will say this right out of the gate. If you are looking for the ultimate stocking stuffers for the holiday season, well, boys and girls, look no further because our sponsors, Manscaped, have the tools to make you win. Make you win this year's stocking stuffer. I should really pre-read my copy. This is potentially the last read. So look no further because our sponsors, Manscaped, have the tools to make you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the only brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming. I just love saying that. And hygiene products. In great news, they just released their products across Europe, Canada, and Australia. Unless you're in the UK, nothing's coming in or out.
Oh,
that was a joke. That was a joke at a COVID expense, and I probably was a prick to say it. But I feel okay with it. In case you didn't know, and Brent Soderbergh is soon to know, the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer offers a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology that helps reduce grooming accidents. I don't know about you guys. I'm on this replenishment schedule where they send me a new blade for both the trimmer and the nose hair thing I got. I don't look like a party favor when I sneeze anymore, which is a nice thing. And my ears, I turn my headphones down. It's like there was a chihuahua in my ears.
You've never itched your ears since.
No.
Is that the wind? I feel good.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I honestly thought I had a leg twitch, but it was every time I scratched my ears.
Yeah.
I had so much hair in there.
Ow.
Yeah. When I sneezed, I'm not finding dust from 1986.
Nice.
So no, I owe them a lot, and it's been great shit. And I'm not saying this because they're a sponsor of the show. I'm saying this because I actually own their shit. So get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com using the code P. Jackson.
F.
Paul. P. There we go. PFP. Whether this is your partner, dad, brother, or friend, get them something that they will actually use, and it's almost sure to get a laugh. And it will. I promise it will. Once again, 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com, using the code PFP. So, there was the joke. And here's the awkward silence. No, I'm not sure how to start this topic other than getting right to it. We here in Spokane, we lost one of our own this week. A great friend of a lot of us. I'm sure he'd be fine if I say his name. A guy by the name of Jonathan Hawkins. A longtime friend of many in the area. He lost his battle with cancer recently, and I don't mean to bring the show down. I promise there's a point to this. Although I don't know if there's a point to cancer, and I wish there wasn't. I wish it didn't exist, and things will be forever different without him around. Jonathan was a lifelong cyclist. He was a brilliant musician. He was an artist, and in my opinion, the closest thing this world will ever get to a perfect mix of Jeff Bridges' good looks and the mellow humor and perspective of a poet, and a guy you just were always happier that showed up at a ride. He did have that. He had that Jeff Bridges look. I mean, he was a thoughtful, cerebral guy, but always there with a good, smart-ass comment. He was the second half of my rhythm section when I was in a band, and he taught me how to relax and let just music happen, just go with the feel of it. He worked on several parts of the very house I'm speaking from, and every time I see his artistry, I'm going to think of him. So there's that. Paul, you knew Jonathan, correct? And what do you remember?
Yeah, and I worked with his brother. He was a carpenter, and Jonathan was a painter. Not artistic. Well, he might have been artistic painter also, but he did full painting. He was very talented, plaster repair, that type of thing. And I always, gave his name out. But I rode with him quite a few times. Played basketball with him. He's about 6'4".
Yeah,
he was a tall guy. When I met him, he had this huge ponytail. Big.
Oh shit! I forgot about the ponytail. Yeah.
He just moved from Indiana, came here and started working, and he rolled in with a GT mountain bike. That's when GTs were like the coolest, and so
Juliana Furtado and Rishi Graywall and all those guys. Jeff Herbold.
Oh yeah.
Greg Herbold. Sorry, God, somebody's gonna yell at me.
But he wanted to find a road. The bike shop that I was working at, believe it or not, was just known for road.
Yeah.
Go figure. And so anyway,
Spain.
We hooked up for a couple of rides, and it was a good time, and he was extremely smart man. At least anybody above me is smarter, but I thought he was. But we were riding, coming back from a ride, and all of a sudden, his chain just starts making this noise, and it just disintegrates. And I'm like, "What the hell? I've never seen this." And he had like the Campy. This is probably 9-speed back then, and so it was expensive. He had like good equipment, and I'm looking at the chain, and the rollers are just like in pieces. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I said, I've never seen that. I mean, they were roll-offs. Roll-offs were what they recommended for that. And they were, at that time, the most expensive chain. And I'm thinking, these things are pieces of crap. I said, when did you buy this? And he goes, oh, it came with a Grupo. How long have you had this? About 5 years. You're running the same chain? And we're stranded. We had to push the guy, and he's not a small guy.
No, he's tall.
And so we had to take turns, and we were on 195. Anybody knows in Spokane, it's Lake Dog Creek. We had to get him up to the South Hill.
Oh.
And we're taking turns pushing, pulling. Yes. Thanks, Jonathan.
He had a Casati, a beautiful Casati, a road bike that was just gorgeous. And
he had the first that I've seen, the first belt-driven like single-speed. He was big into single-speed stuff too.
Like I said, he and I were in a band together for a long time, and Guy would play. Yeah, he played regular electric bass, but and this isn't a show about music, but he played this stand-up bass at some of our gigs, and it was the coolest thing in the world. This cool, silver. Silver fox kind of in the corner, as my wife says when she sees somebody with old gray hair, silver fox, and he was such a badass. He was so cool. So, I guess my point of this is two things. First, a toast to the one and only Jonathan Hawkins. Tailwinds, my friend.
Yeah. Got a little verklempt.
Did you? Yeah. Great guy. Second of all, and I'd like to reflect a little bit. After a year that sucked for a lot of things, let's look at the beauty. Let's look at riding with friends. Let's look at laughing at the epic moments. Let's look at the anger and the fury of the rivalries, which are a huge part of this gig, this sport. The simple joy of making a bicycle move forward. So I just thought it'd be kind of a cool tribute to a guy like that who just loved to get out and ride his bikes, that I'd like to ask you guys. And if anybody wants to chime in again on our social media, where we are, I'm not going to push it anymore. But if you want to, type something. Let us know. What are some of the friendships you've had that wouldn't have happened without cycling? And I'll just throw that to you guys anywhere. Jackson, it might be weird for you because you've always, this was a family thing for a long time. But are there any kind of friendships or relationships that just have come out of that? And I'd also like to point out that you ride with a bunch of old farts, and is that have you established standalone friendships with anybody in that culture?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I don't think Paul and I would have gotten anywhere as close to each other as we are without this type of stuff. So I think that's something that's
they're still 6 feet, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't see his pores.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's something that definitely came out of it, and I think Jack, as much as we can label him a cyclist, is somebody who I've gotten to know. And like CP, I've always known you guys throughout, but I've never really what you would call know. And so I feel like this year has kind of brought that out of it a little bit. And so I think those are the type of friendships that I'm really kind of bringing out of these. Yeah. No, I already knew you. So.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
How'd that happen?
You can pick your friends.
We've been friends for about 21 years.
Yeah, and pick your family. Paul, any kind of ones that just pop into your head?
Well, the thing is once you ask that question, I'm sitting there thinking back. Okay, high school. I see on Facebook a couple of people are close, with their high school buddies, college buddies. I'm not close to any of them. I have friends still that I raced, that I keep, semi-contact, or if I don't see them, it's like a rush of, dude, what's been going on in your life since 1987?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, and I don't know, and I don't want to simplify things like war is not that big of a deal, but when you talk about, people in the trenches, and there's something about cycling, I don't know, you will see in the sport the most diverse, and I'll use like our friend Justin Short and the craziness that he is, all the way to somebody who, like me, that's like, I want simplicity. I don't want numbers. I just want, I want cable breaks, things that work. I don't want all this distraction. But we have a meeting place when we have everybody's been, in that point where you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if I can make it home.
Yeah.
And you have buddies helping you make it home or giving you food or water when you need it. So, I think it is a unique sport.
And it's the I don't want to say solitude of it, because you're you're out there with other people, but the fact that all you've got are just you guys and you're out riding. You have nothing to entertain you. There's nothing in the background. There's no TV show. There's no football game on TV or something like that. You have to create the conversations yourself. I find myself getting to know people so much more in depth on a 3-hour ride. When, even if it is, I CP telling me the same story for the 5th time. I love the dude, man. And I'll listen to the same story for the 3rd time, because this time it's always just a little tweak. It's a little different. And, and I'm not just picking on CP. Everybody does that. We all do that.
Number one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
And I can jump over this.
Exactly. But, okay, yeah. So, what are some of the inside jokes or moments or laughs that you can only share with cyclists because you kind of have to be one to get it? Are there anything like that you guys have that are like, you have to know it, you have to be there to know it, or something like that?
Nothing comes to mind right off the bat.
I don't want to make it sound like we're this exclusive club of,
but
guys
I think
with secret handshakes. We're not.
If you don't mind, I'll tell a story, and it's about this one guy. Who is he was a master when I was still like in my 30s and stuff, and he was in the 40s, and all these Cat 2s and I would go out and train, from different teams, and we plan on doing, if you did Washington Trust Classic, it was called the Long Lake Road Race. So it's around 100 miles. And he said,
it's terrible.
And he said, hey, do you mind if I come along? I said, geez, John, yeah, come along, and stuff. Hang in there. Just, you don't have to contribute to the efforts. And, it rolled out pretty easy. And we got to a point where he wasn't taking any pulls. He never did. And he was coming unglued. And this is in the early days with Power Bar was like the only source of energy.
Malt nut.
Yeah.
It was. And
he had the chocolate.
It tasted like the guy's name was Malt, and you're eating his nuts.
Well, he had the chocolate, which had no flavor, light chocolate. I don't know what it was, but he had a chocolate bar, power bar, and we're riding. He's like, hey, he goes, Paul, can I talk to you? And I dropped back, and I said, yeah. And he goes, so where are we? And I said, well, we're near Reardon. How far is Highway 2? It's like another 5-6 miles that way. And that'll take me into Spokane. I said, you don't want to peel it. I know you're suffering. No, I'm okay, dude. I'm okay. And it's just one of these things where I'm looking. I could tell he's already glassy-eyed, right? And then we start hitting these rollers, and it's part of my TT course. When we hit that section coming back into town. And we had crosswinds. And the guy, I'm going back and grabbing him, bringing him back. And I finally, he was on my wheel, and I lost him again. I dropped back. And he had this Power Bar streams down the side of his face,
like
down
Rudy
his neck.
Giuliani's sideburns.
And I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "No, I'm totally fine." I thought, I have been there 1,000 times. You can lie through your teeth, dude. You are shattered. And so I told everybody, I waved everybody on and wheeled him home. But
just got him home.
Oh yeah, he was in pieces. He was almost in tears. So I mean, the thing is, those are the moments. You know, those are the moments. I've been there, bud. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to apologize or deny. And road cycling is weird about that. It's like, no, what happened? No, I was okay.
It's like,
no one wants to be
yeah.
the sorry, I got dropped. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, we've all been there.
It's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where it puts us, bonds us.
Yeah.
I think if I were to think of a joke, I don't know if I have like necessarily an inside joke, but I think the day when I think it was all four of us, including CP, on a ride, and we were going pretty quickly, and it was the day the van pulled out, and
Oh shit.
it was you, then me, then
Me.
then it was you, Dad, and
Yeah.
then CP was at the back behind us, and this van pulled out, and at that moment I was like, I'm gonna see Paul hit the side of a van.
Yeah.
Like that was where I was going.
Uh-huh.
And then afterwards, when you were like, good thing I've got a clean undercarriage so I don't have to clean as well.
Shit out of my hair 'cause it's manscaped. Yeah.
I think that's like the one thing that I remember.
Very clean wipe.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm
No
sure.
dingleberries there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thanks to
We can all
Manscaped.
think of stuff. And there's lingo, there's stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that all go in. And, even when you're watching, a bike race on TV, my wife, I remember when she and I first, we actually are freaking on our way to our honeymoon. I'm driving to Seattle because we were going to take a plane out, and I'm driving to Seattle, and she's got a Villa News open, and she's just trying to pronounce bike racers' names. Just because she didn't, it's not like, oh my God, I have to be a part of this culture. It was like, I'm interested, I'm curious. And so she's like, Johan Museo. Okay. How? What? What? I'm like, Jamaluddin Abdujaparov. She's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? This guy's name sounds like a sneeze, but, and then, and now she's so engrossed, obviously, in this idiot culture that she knows everything about it, even though she might not be a full-time bike rider or something like that. But, it's fun. So my next one is, what are some of the rivalries that you actually have enjoyed hating? Are there any people that you've ridden against that you've been just like, I want to say fuck you, but you know what? Fuck you. So I'll give you some examples. I'll throw some out there. I will throw my rivalries under the bus here, okay? So, for example, Richie Farr. No, I'm calling out Richie Farr. Richie Farr was my teammate for years on Arrive Raleigh here. My own teammate. He and I butted heads so many times as juniors. The boys from Moscow, Kirk Willett, who had a pretty damn good amateur career. Matt Robeson, I was always battling against those guys. Mike Meyerly.
Yeah.
Mike Meyerly, another guy. I'm not saying anything bad about these guys. They're fucking fast bike racers, but I always kind of butted heads with them. I didn't butt heads with Matt and Kirk, but Mike I did.
He was my training partner.
Was he?
Oh, big time.
We spent a lot of time screaming at each other in
Yeah,
downtown
I remember at Crit.
Criteriums, Yeah.
I remember a crit in
Really good for
Tri-Cities.
sponsors, yeah. Downtown Crit, you're going, fuck you!
Yeah.
Mom and kids are watching a bike race, yeah.
I was in the break with you and Meyerly, and you're going at it, but I was like suffering beyond belief, and I looked down, and unbeknownst to me, I had broken my frame.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Yeah, it broke down by the chainstay, right at the dropout, the rear dropout on the drive side.
Oh my God.
But it took me a while because it was black paint.
Yeah.
I had to get it repaired, but it was dragging it, and you guys were going at it, and he was screaming because you weren't pulling hard enough, and I'm like, I'm dying, and then I went into the pits, and I'm like, I had broke the axle because it's before cassettes, so you had free wheel, so they had this section, and I thought I could feel the wheel loose, and I thought, oh, I broke an axle. That's what the problem was, but it was more than that. So yeah, and I used to train with Mike a lot. And you know what he does now? He raced in Belgium for 1 year, came back the next year. This is a highlight of the 90s. Drugs were so prevalent, he left.
Oh,
He quit.
shit.
He designs golf courses. He lives in Tucson, Arizona.
No shit.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a golfer.
Wow.
He probably doesn't miss me.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, do.
I will.
Are there any, Jackson, you're still kind of at the beginning phase of this. Is there anybody you're just like going, I want to beat that fucker?
I think last year, as the mountain bike series that I've mentioned a couple of times, that I was fortunate enough to win. I think
did, yeah.
there was one other guy, I don't know his name, but he would always stick right on my wheel throughout these races, and it would be kind of a vice versa. Like I remember crashing last year, and he was like, he saw me go down, and then he just took off.
Yeah.
And then since that day, I was like, you're the one.
Yeah.
But on that day, I was able to get him.
He's not a dick.
He's not.
He did what
we all would have done.
Oh, God, yeah. If he would have gone down, I would have done the same thing he did. Yeah. I don't have too many rivalries, though.
Like people you just want to scream at and yell "fuck you" in the middle of a downtown Criterium.
I don't know if I have enough race experience yet. Ask me in 2 years, then I'll let you know.
All right.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
I'll start hating you guys.
Yeah. He's going to be his own
I know.
father.
Yeah.
Paul, any rivalries?
I wouldn't say an individual, but there are teams, and like we touched on earlier in the show about Ineos not liking, or the Cowboys or Yankees or Bayern Munich or Man U
or Rainbow Schwinn.
Man U. You are.
Jackson loves.
They're
Man
right
U.
in my heart.
Yeah. Poser.
I'm a Newcastle guy. I'm in the bottom.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but it's teams that are on the top. You can see they have talent, and of recent it was like the beer guys here in town. It's not that I had anything, but I wanted to figure out a way somebody or a group of us could thwart their control. But then I've been on the other side when I was on River City Red when my friend Travis was in there. We dominated. So we were the target. So it's always, to me, it's more of a team.
I see what you're saying.
Whether it's like Olympic sports.
Yeah.
Remember, it's like, jeez.
Yeah.
And then when Granny's came around,
Yeah.
it was like.
These are all team sponsors from
this
the
is
early
Washington
days. Yeah.
stuff. So
I still want to be beer. Team beer. It is a team beer for those of you who don't know what the fuck we're talking about. There's a team. It's Bandit Elite Racing, and they're great guys. They're fast assholes, but
they're all strong.
Especially Nigel. I want to beat his ass. I never will because he's younger and I'm fatter. My last question for this one, you guys, is there a time, and Jackson, it's going to be hard for you to answer this one, that you have recalled? And when I thought about Jonathan, I thought about the time when another friend of ours, Bruce Hunt, who we've also lost to cancer, we used to have a regular Saturday ride, and it was just, there were some times that this ride turned into, even in the dead of winter, we would show up and we would go mountain bike riding, and we would, what I would call Zamboni rides, where the person in front would fall and slide and let us know where the ice was. It was one of those kind of rides.
I just blew snot out.
Yeah, it's okay. But it was that kind of a group, and we'd have big groups, and it was, and then after a while, it was Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, and it was just, I call them Camelot, because you don't know at the time how special it is. And you don't realize that, holy shit, I should stop and pay attention to this because this isn't going to last forever. And are there any times that you think about that? I can think about the 1980s, and that means I'm fucking old, but I can think about the 1980s in Spokane, where we had the Arrive Cycling Club with 30, 50 juniors, and we had the Olympic trials and stuff like that. Is there anything like that pops into your head? Jackson, it might not be as easy, but you might think of something. It's like, a time that was like, holy shit, that was magical. That was special.
I mean, part of me right now thinks that, and this might come across as cheesy, but part of me thinks that right now we have something, I think, and I kind of feel that way a little bit.
Should we be paying attention?
Yeah, I find myself every once in a while trying to pay attention as much as we can, because eventually, like,
I'm going to be too old to ride. Is that what you're saying?
No. But like
next year.
But like life happens and things could change out of nowhere, and so I think paying attention to it right now is kind of a special thing.
Yeah. Paul?
Yeah, I would have to say I stumbled across in 1986 the breakfast ride, which in Spokane, there's a famous 100-year-old carousel downtown in the Central Park in Spokane.
Carousel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
German. So, Luft. which means air.
Oh.
Anyway, so you would meet down there at 9 o'clock every Sunday, and it was called the breakfast ride because back when it was in its infancy was where people that were into cycling would ride to Cheney at a nice casual pace.
15 miles away.
Yeah, it's 15 miles, and it's gradual uphill. You know,
It's good
and
rolling,
then they would stop and have breakfast at this place called the Elegant Egg.
Elegant Egg. Yeah. Oh my God.
And
yeah.
so-
I've been to it. The Elegant Egg.
By the time I came in, it must have been 85, maybe 1985. So it's like it started picking up where you had some iconic people, and I was the new guy. Didn't know anybody. You're sitting there in this group, and I learned like Hippie Harold, Spinner Lou. They all had like nicknames like fighter pilots. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And my first, it's like the most memorable, and there was a lot of stories off of that. Pat Stowe, who listens to the show also.
Pat's a good thing, yeah.
I screwed him over once. And he gave me the old, fist pump. Yeah, right.
Bob's your uncle?
Yeah, Bob's your uncle, yeah. So, it's like I have tons of stories coming from that just breakfast ride. And is what, if I didn't have a race that weekend, you went down there Sunday morning and we'd tear it up for 15 miles. You were full gas all the way. And like I said, there's several hills. They're not steep, but you're gaining elevation the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just as good as a race. So.
There's so many times. Did you have anything that popped? Oh, you did. Yeah. You said now. Yeah, exactly. And I've got so many, and that's what just makes it such a great experience. I guess my moral to come out of this is, and I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, is try not to be too cocky here, I guess is what I'm trying to say for me. Call a friend, go for a group ride when it's safe to fucking do so. Send a text and schedule, even if you have to, as with Meetup, because and I guess last thing is take a look around, right? Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to stop, because I can't believe I'm going to quote Ferris Bueller because you might miss it, and you might look back and go, God damn it. That was epic, and I can think of some pretty cool rides I've been on with my friend Jonathan. So there we go. Before we finish, I've got two last things. Number one, Jackson Bulger has an insane announcement to make before I sneeze.
Yeah.
Gesundheit.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
should we start off with how this idea came into formation?
Yeah.
I could say,
go for it, yeah.
A listener asked me, have we ever tried to accomplish this specific feat? And I said, yes, one of us has been stupid enough to have tried this specific feat.
And you have been the one that has
I was
done
the
this
stupid one. I was the stupid one.
So from this message, we started thinking a little bit, and I started thinking about how insane this could be. So I was on the phone with someone, and recently we were talking about this, and they were saying that, Jackson, this is possibly 10 hours on the bike. You should probably get your ass in gear and go for it. And so, by the way, I'm going to be attempting on December 9th, the
January 9th.
January 9th,
Yeah.
December 9th would have been a
Time
whole
travel.
nother thing. Yep.
He's going to attempt time travel.
On January 9th.
I gave him a whole year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
On January 9th, I'll be attempting to be a knight of Sufferlandria. So that'll be a big thing. So recently this conversation ensued where I figured out that I've got to spend some time sitting in one place. So recently I've been limiting myself to the shortest ride I can do is an hour. And last week I spent 2 hours in one sitting on the trainer, which is a lot of time, but you got to get used to sitting there for a while. So I've been getting used to Sufferfest. I did a video today. I did, I forget what the one was called, but it was a good sprint interval.
Yeah.
I'm on there. I'm labeled as an attacker, so I'm able to recover quickly. So I kind of did something off of that 4DP test that they have.
Yeah.
But oh boy, the new year is holding something crazy for me.
For those not fully up to speed with the Sufferfest, I've been a friend with Sufferfest from a long time. Online workout now paired with Wahoo. They're now part of the Wahoo organization, and these are great workout videos, very specific to the cyclist needs, depending upon your area of weakness or your area of strength. Training programs, everything like that. And the video average is usually about anywhere to hour to above. I'm almost up to 2.5 hours, or down as low as 30 minutes. To become, what they did is they created a country called Sufferlandria. And to become a knight of Sufferlandria, the challenge is to do 10 videos back to back with only 10 minutes of rest in between. And the videos have to be a specific length, and they have to be very specific ones. So you basically, what it means to is you're doing 10 hours minimum of riding, and with the 10-minute breaks, it equates to over 12 hours where you're doing this effort. So what we're announcing this for in the show is that on January 9th, which is a Saturday, Jackson's going to be in the new expanded, what do we call it, a indoor riding studio. That's what I'm going to call it. That's cool. That's cool. It's not just a basement anymore, honey. Yeah. It's an indoor riding studio.
There we go.
And he's going to be attempting 10 videos back to back with 10 minutes rest in between. I would like to recruit as many people who would like to come in and ride alongside him for one of the videos along the way. If we get 10 people to ride each video alongside him along the way, I think that'd be great, just to kind of keep him motivated. He has to do them at an intensity. He cannot sit back and just soft pedal through these things. This is a full interval workout. And I'm going to say it sucks ass. But Jackson, we talked about it earlier, and you're going to pick a charity to do it for, and we're going to make that happen. So
I'll burn some sage down here.
Paul
there we go.
Burn some sage. Paul will burn some sage.
I've never done anything like this before. I've watched you, for instance, when you were at Leadville, when you did something like that. I've never done something by myself like this before, so it'll be a new, interesting experience, and I'm excited for it. I'm obviously a little nervous. It's a pretty big feat, but we're going to do it.
And in order to prove you've done it, we have to stream the whole thing live. So we're going to be streaming the entire thing live.
Wow.
Yeah, to prove. Gentlemen, before we finish this podcast, I need to do something. It's this 2020, as many people has said, has been brutal. I think it's been brutal, but it's also been, as we talked about in the show, there have been some highlights. There's been some nice moments. There's been some happy moments, and one of the moments has been this show. And thank you. I want to say thank you to the listeners and everybody being involved. I'm not saying we're going to go away. I'm not saying we're not doing a show next week before New Year's Eve, but I'm just saying that this is a good time to do it. And I especially want to thank the two gentlemen who are in the studio here with me. And I'm going to start off by reading you a little business card here. Medieval legend says Count Gisalo was one day chased by robbers, took refuge behind an image of the Virgin Mary, and was spared. A shrine at the side of the northern Italy later became a spot where cyclists would rest and ask for protection. And if you're a cyclist, you probably know what I'm talking about. In 1949, Pope Pius XII proclaimed Our Lady of Gisalo as the patron saint of cyclists. The site is now a part shrine and part cycling museum. Services are held each Christmas Eve and the Feast of All Souls to commemorate cyclists and their sport. And I'm about to hand to these guys, they don't know this is going to happen, a small medal that was carved by a man by the name of Hank Schlau and cast by hand in pewter. I have a gift for you guys for Christmas that I'd like to hand you guys both.
Thank you so much.
Wow. And you can use it on your bike, you can use it on your keychain, you can wear it around your neck, or you can just say, wow, Pat's an idiot. But it's a handmade pewter medal of the patron saint of cycling, and I thought you guys so fucking deserve this for all the things we've been through this year, and Merry Christmas, you guys.
Right on.
You take it out and take a look at that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And thank you to all of our listeners for being a part of the show. And I guess with that, you guys got anything to send us off with?
Merry Christmas. Huh?
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Yeah. Let's go full gas into 2021 like we did 2020. So
Jackson, you better stop drinking because it just makes you slow. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of the live show. It looks like we had a good amount of you guys on YouTube. I don't know what our stats were everywhere else, but fuck it. keep tuning in and tell all your friends.
Thanks, man. This is cool. Goes on my keychain for my car.
I'm trying to end every